just becomes the group of death carrying it into future matches.
It's been an incredible journey so far for Nora-Rengo, all the way from that very first game on Monday. Monday feels like a lifetime ago nowadays, but Empire will start things off on map number 2 with their backs against the wall and no escape maps, no escape games, no losers bracket. It is do or die for Team Empire on this map. Hibon and Glaz will be the 2 bands on the attacking side, which is very interesting considering that Joystick has been shut down on the defensive side, still going for jump outs on Consulate, but there aren't jump outs you can really do on Bank unless you're just going to spawn kill.
Well, no target bans coming out against Empire. Pretty much the typical bans you'd often expect for this map for the most part. A little bit of predictability from Empire as well. So that does mean it's going to come down more so to the individual plays than the operator bans, since most teams are going to be well practiced against these particular bans. It also means Maestro is still going to be in play, something we saw sometimes impactful on the previous map. But in this map in particular, there are some great ways to play it. And Joystick going to be trying to do what he does. We might be going for the double hard breacher here to make sure that they can get those hatches open, something you're also going to expect. And the Jackal going to go hunting.
I love these chants. These are amazing. I love seeing this team coming out of APAC, the underappreciated region, getting the support and love from the hometown crowd. Round number 1 on Bank, and I'm not at all shocked to see that we have a Jackal coming out from Papilia, as it was Ramu last time running the Jackal, but I don't think it really matter considering it's a pretty simple utility to utilize. Find Joystick's footprints, pin him in the corner, track him 3 times, kill him.
Yeah, and the thing is too, with the phone calls, it's not necessarily the sense that the phone's ringing the whole time, it's the chance to catch him off guard while he's answering it. Now, of course, the changes coming in the future means if he can hang out long enough, it'll answer itself and hang up, but still, that's a ways away from today, something he's going to have to potentially deal with as well as the rest of the defenders. It'll be interesting to see, though, if any real counter plays will be coming out from Nora-Rengo in terms of just being able to shut down the, I would hope, careless defense. We're going to come out for the most part outside of Joystick roaming around. Perhaps Scyther as well, taking up the mantle of what Shockwave usually plays. Since Shockwave's going to be bringing that pulse, I got to imagine he's going to be hanging out down in the basement as well. So should be 3 men at the very least on site here. Hopefully that means that Jackal won't be able to put as much pressure on them for this particular defense.
So you're going to be starting out over by top square as, like I said, his sole mission will be to find Joystick. He scans footprints and it turns out to be someone else. That kind of sucks, honestly. You want to find Joystick as he's your flank man, and he's currently pent up inside of the garage, but I imagine that will change rather quickly as soon as Nora-Rengo begin clearing out the top 4s of the map and trying to establish some map control and convert into a site execute. That is the time at which Joystick always seems to find his way on the top 4 coming down on top of you.
Well, I do like that he is at least setting up some garage. You saw him shooting out the windows to give him the opportunity to pop some of those long angles through some type of approach. There's the footprint tracking already coming out on the pulse. Unfortunately, all that does is confirm usually what you already know at that point, that he's going to be playing downstairs. Does manage to keep them a little bit more constrained in terms of it's not going to have him going roaming or anything like that, but Waka already looking to put some pressure on while Jackal does his thing. Good teamwork in terms of the double tracking here while Maverick gets the hatches open. That's the thing, is that you ban Hibana now, it just means more Maverick play, something you're seeing a lot more of this season. I expect the second half of the season is going to be, again, a starting role for Maverick.
Well, that hatch finally opened up into CCTV, and Flashbang come out, trying to clear out any ADSs that Joystick has placed throughout the objectives, and they're waiting on this server hold to kind of fall back. And Shepard and Joystick both stacked inside of the garage right now. It's an interesting deployment right now, and Joystick is still going for runouts on anyone repelled on the main lobby windows. There's nothing going on over there. It seems like a lack of intel on the side of Team Empire, and the thermite charge will come out onto both server walls into CCTV now. Or no, they won't. I guess that was the evil eye in behind at the bottom of server stairs to wipe that out, so they can't get default plant spot open, and with a minute left, they still have a lot of utility to go for the execute here. They just need to get rid of these evil eyes.
Well, luckily they have all those smokes to work with, but yeah, like you said, those evil eyes are going to be a problem, not to mention counter smokes coming out as well as potential C4s, and then of course Joystick just springing around at the last second, bringing his little trap, but they are setting up to be able to go for some flanks, potentially if they need to, as the smokes start to come down and the phone calls to follow it.
Phone calls, smokes, all the utility dumped into the objective, and now Racer will rush straight in all the way onto the CCTV desk and trying to get the plant down. Holding the door from above is Waka. Nitro Cell will miss, and there goes the vault from Shockwave, shut down. The plan gets completed on the desk, but now Racer will choke and suffocate on the gas, leveling things at a 4v4 again, covering the diffuser from up top. This will mean Empire will need to retake up the main stairs, but Ramu shuts one down. Can he shut another one? Karzeka will trade out Mariudu down below. Papilia rotating over towards server stairs as Waka hits the deck and tries to remain protected. Shepard on the diffuser. Telltale signs. He's still sticking this and he loses the gunfight. 2 seconds away. Shepard's still on. And they'll clutch it out. The counter defuse. The missed shots on the recoil pattern of the SMG-12. Sacrifice round number 1 for Nora-Rengo.
Very impressive getting that plant down despite all the opposition to it. But if you can't cover it, it certainly doesn't mean anything. Great just coverage overall for that retake. That is a hard retake to make unless you can get that top floor flank. The fact that Joystick died trying to go for his flank as well, it made it a little more surprising they were able to pull that off just because they didn't have a ton of highly mobile players to go running around for it, but just good gunplay winning their shots. A good start here. That was the very first round. And on Nora-Rengo's map, Empire actually taking it despite how strong of a play that was. Impressive, but still so far from a comeback here.
That was an impressive plant spot, honestly, coming out of Nora-Rengo. Not something that we've seen all that commonly, and just an unfortunate situation there for Waka. He has the SMG-12 out instead of the MK-14, and honestly, if he had the Boss G, he probably would have fared better in that engagement down through the stairs. Karzeka able to land the shot, but the defuse was already 2 seconds away from being completed. It was just an unfortunate series of events. But that will mean that Team Empire acquire the first round on defense. This will force them onto a new objective, which will be CEO.
Yeah, definitely much harder bomb site to try and sneak a plant in there, especially since a lot of the players have got to be on that top floor. Similar to console, what we see on console in terms of being able to hang out a lot of your players on the top floor on that bomb site without having to do a ton of roaming. I got to imagine we're still going to see a bit of it. Some drones getting killed as well, trying to do what you can to get cameras in position because you want as much visibility of that lobby as possible. You also want to have some visibility, preferably, of the windows to make sure if anyone's pressuring the lobby, hanging out from the rappel, you can potentially counter-peek them. But there's also the possibility of runouts from that garage if you want to get really risky. If anyone's rappelling on that side, they are going to try and see if they can get anything going with their rappels. First, castle barricades. Going to make that hard to do. They managed to shut down at least a lot of the windows. Yeah, those get shot open easily, but that does give away your position in the process. And of course, as is expected for the site, they have a dock for the bulletproof camera and those long-angle ACOG fights. It's just a question of who wins those, and it could come down to nearly a coin flip.
Darting back and forth is Scyther as he tries to find an angle. He'll see the shoulder. Oh my, what a shot by Scyther to shut down Mariu. The Ash repelled in the front lobby windows will be dispatched of quite swiftly. Beautiful shot there from Scyther on the dock, and he's had a tournament to remember. But now Nora-Rengo will coalesce inside of the main lobby as the first logic bomb will come out and ring apart the phones of all the defenders. And the Valkyrie camera spotted, just waiting for an overextension here as Papilia out on the front west garage ramp windows.
A lot of repelling here. It already cost one player. They need to do something with that. That's just costing them a lot of time at this point. Yeah, we did see Ramu last time playing on the Jackal, holding those long angles. Papilia tried to do the same thing. There's a good start. That phone a little bit exposed. Might not be able to hack it through the smoke. In this case, that's going to give them the progress they need to start to push physically towards the site instead of repelling.
Gotta worry about Karzeka still inside the elevator, and Joystick will take down Ramu. Not sure if he went for the vault out or not, but dropping right now will be Karzeka through the elevator hatch. Looks like it is actually Joystick went for a run out, and he's all the way outside now trying to come back up the sewer tunnel.
So far working out to be a much better bomb site as the team is not able to find a lot of purchase here from Nora-Rengo. They can't seem to find a lot of kills despite the footprints coming up down. There we go, great teamwork. That is what we needed to see on Consulate.
Waka directly at Shepard inside of the janitor closet. They're holding the same angle at each other. Through a hole, you hear the crowd losing their minds about it, but a fault from Racer will take down one, but Shockwave and Shepard will shut it down. It's back-to-back rounds for Team Empire on an aggressive defensive hold topside.
I think this is what Empire needed, to start on the side that's winning. Starting on the side that was definitely not the favorite side last map from what we saw, definitely cost them a lot of that momentum, but now we maybe we will be seeing that comeback that we saw yesterday from Empire. They're going to be getting that momentum up, but this is where we need to see Nora-Rengo doing their thing in terms of keeping their momentum, keeping their spirits up, because this is their map, and you know what, side switch is nowhere near happening at this point. It's only 2 rounds in. But I gotta say, this is the Empire, like I said, we should have been seeing on console in terms of good teamwork. Their ability to play all together on the site like this worked out very well on both defenses. They're able to stay a lot more stable in a single area, whereas on console they were too spread out, not able to cover enough angles for the trades, not able to trade for each other. You saw, for example, when the pressure was coming out from the Jackal, comes flying out of Janitor Closet for the kill. That was an example of what I mean. They need to be in positions where they can protect each other, not just give one-off freebies to Nora-Rengo.
So, third round, third different objective. As Team Empire has been successful in back-to-back defenses, which again will lock out both of them for at least one more round as far as lockers and CCTV is concerned. So Empire will head to Tellers and Archives. Usually the secondary objective, however, we've been seeing a lot of CEO play so far this week.
It's a really good bomb site. It took a while to kind of become meta, something that we see a team that's now Dark Zero. We're kind of one of the teams that helped introduce it, but then once Rogue kind of debuted with a very strong defense on it, it seemed to come into it much more often. It is definitely a bomb site that can be tricky, but depends on operators like Castle to be able to kind of lock up some of those windows and long angles. But then you also have to fight the long angles yourself with a Doc or a Rook, or even an Echo. In this case, though, we'll see if they have the right utility to make this approach happen. They're going to be bringing that Thermite again, but no Maverick this time for this tech, which means Hatch is maybe not getting opened up. Joystick, unfortunately for him, already taking about half his health in damage.
You see on the stat there that Nora-Rengo has already played and won Bank twice. It's Empire's second most banned map, and yet Empire get off to an early lead. And it's not saying that Nora-Rengo can't bounce back and close this out in a 2-0. It's just that the way the games have been going lately, I imagine this is going 3 maps regardless. And Empire definitely have that resiliency. They demonstrated it against Liquid exemplary, and I don't imagine it's going to change today.
Honestly, I don't think you deserve a seat in the finals if you don't have that resiliency. It is just such a prerequisite at this point. Nice opening of the floor there from Wonka as well. Just not finding any angles though. And this is always the scary part. When you start opening up all these holes, there's a good chance you walk by one of your old ones to find these fingers staring right up and shooting you in the face. This is why Buck sometimes can be a little bit easier to deal with on that, but you know, different players, different comfort levels of that, but a good grenade is going to send him flying out right into the waiting hands of Mariu.
Beautiful team play there from Nora-Rengo to be a catch-off shockwave inside of the elevator, and they're playing this alternate strategy here with a sea of barbed wire in the teller's doorway, and there's 3 defenders, but they have sight control. Papilia is in, and he's going to walk straight into the room with Shepard into the small office outside of Archives with a rotate through. So Nora-Rengo stacking outside of the teller's desk, and everyone on Empire over by open area. No one actually in the objective. A prone peek shut down by Walker, trying to go for 2. Takes a lot of shots in the process. Mario will fall from a flank from Joystick, leveling at a 3v3. Down to the hatch will Raystill go, shooting out the Claymore and the flank drone at the same time. Oh, what a shot by Karzeka, as it was Waka who hit the deck in response. Raystill coming up the main stairs, sees the head for a moment, reacts to the pings, levels again. Karzeka on 1 HP, and vaulting over the front desk is Scyther to take down Ramu. Raystill on the main stairs. He's got 2 defenders left, both 1 HP. Flashbangs come raining out. Counter defusing now is Scyther on the diffuser, in behind the soft wall. He takes down Karzeka. Still on the diffuser though, in behind the photocopier. Another instance of a man in behind an indestructible surface, long arming the diffuser, and that is 3 straight for Empire.
Just the story of these inadequately covered diffusers. I mean, they had Crossfire initially, but one of those was going to be exposed to the lobby. Honestly, surprised Empire were able to retake it. You saw towards the end, they were all stacked up basically in open area in the admin office, completely pushed away from the bomb site, but they had the ability to rotate through the hallway. You also saw them maybe get upstairs. Just their ability to push back quickly, knowing where most of the members were going to be covering that plant, absolutely working out, and in a way, Nora falling into their trap, essentially, but that was a risky play, letting them get that plant down like they did inside Tellers. They've got to be a bit more careful, but that was clearly not their primary or secondary bomb site. That was their tertiary. So not a big deal. They could come back again, and they did manage to win that either way because they were able to get the defuse down, or the disarm out the defuse down. But this is where it gets, again, hard for Nora. They were able to get plants down multiple times now. but just not able to cover it adequately.
They were able to get their plant down off a unique plant spot on top of the CCTV desk when attacking this objective in the very first round, and they were also caught off guard by that evil eye at the bottom of server stairs, and Shepard relocated this time into server. Again, trying to hide it in the corner and keep it out of the purview of any drones taking a casual glance through server, but anyone looking a little harder than that will be able to spot it out in behind the rack.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the case where they're not putting any IQ or anything that's going to be able to spot those things ahead of time. But with Echo Band, it's not as mandatory in terms of making sure you don't get delayed on the actual plant. We've seen Nora can execute on the plant, even if there's C4, Evil Eyes, and Smokes left. It's just a case of whether or not timing works in their favor, but not so for Mary as Joystick, shutting him down. It's not quite Waka, but it's his best or closest equivalent.
Well, Papilia will immediately be able to find the footsteps of Joystick as he retreats down the south stairs. So that'll be an end momentarily for Joystick's roaming, and he'll head back to Garage, seemingly his favorite spot so far on Bank. But considering Empire banned Bank quite a lot, as it is their most banned map in the last recent history, I'm surprised that he's still maneuvering the map with such ease when there's constantly a Jackal coming out on the side of Nora-Rengo. And honestly, there's been a Jackal and a Dokkaebi in consecutive rounds too, and he's still getting away with what he does best.
It's honestly confidence. That's what works so well for him. That's why he makes him such a highlight player when he makes his plays, because it's just very, I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but ballsy moves. And he manages to get away with them more often than not. But I gotta imagine also, yes, they banned the heck out of this map, which meant Empire have shown nothing of Bank, and Nora-Rengo have shown a ton of Bank. And I gotta imagine that is seriously factoring in here, because knowing the enemy's attack strats and how they push absolutely plays into players' favors like Joystick, because he's able to know where can I move mostly safely, where can I get away with picking on to the entry players like he did on the Mario, and they're capitalizing on that round after round, even in retake scenarios.
The top spot to be in right now if you're Nora-Rengo. There's about a minute remaining in the round, and Waka and Rayso will peruse their way into servers. They'll be detected by the cardiac sensor and the evil eye, but here comes Waka to dispatch of that. Thankfully, no more exothermic charges will be destroyed on walls that are necessary for default plants. But even with the wall open, the default plant has been hotly contested multiple times over on multiple bank games this week, and Shepard in a perfect spot to stall this out.
Yeah, something, this is an angle that was talked about quite a bit before. A very useful one for a Maestro, especially, gets to take those quick picks, because he can continue to pre-fire that spot. He doesn't need to go full auto, just pre-fire it for a while. This is where Pulse needs to do his job, though, in making the calls so they can make the plays as they need to and not overuse utility.
Time running out on the clock, 20 seconds remaining. It's a 4v5 right now for Nora-Rengo. They need to get this plant down. Rayso continuously trying to press in for default, but unable to get it going. Finally, a Nitro Cell, though, will launch out, and Rayso will die to his teammate Waka. No! Shockwave able to vault over the desk to safety. There's 2 seconds left. Waka needs to get this plant down. There's no time. It's 4 in a row for Empire. The Russian machine on a comeback.
Well, so far we've shown both maps rather to be fairly defender-sided. We saw Nora taking a lot of defensive rounds on Consulate, and we are seeing quite the same from Empire here on Bank. It wasn't quite enough of a comeback on their defense on Consulate to save it, but this is a good start. The important thing is getting that early point advantage gives you a lot of slack when the site switch comes out to try and adapt to the defenses you're trying to pick apart. Lets you be a little more flexible on attacks, and Waka team killing one of his teammates is also certainly not going to help things in trying to come back and get at least the last 2 points on their attack.
You can see them talking it out right now. Well, actually, we can. Those of you at home can't. But everyone in the arena can, as we have the face cams up 24/7. And it looked like Waka and Rayso were talking out what happened, why it happened. They laughed it off. And that's kind of the positive spirit, the jovial energy that Nora-Rengo bring. They can laugh a lot of those mistakes off pretty easily.
Yeah, I gotta imagine, they've been so close to making some of these executes. The difference maker is whether or not you get frustrated or motivated by the fact that you've actually been able to pull off many of them, and the mistakes were yours to make. You own them, and you can improve, as opposed to saying, oh, you know, I got messed up by this or messed up by that, like we were so close, oh, what a bummer. maintaining the positive element of it, like, wow, we almost did that, we could do it. That's the important takeaway from each of those rounds. But losing 4 of them, it is hard to smile a little bit after it, I gotta say, because so many of those were retakes, where they even got the plant down and just could not cover it adequately. And that's starting to become a theme across both maps here for both teams. Is, like you said, those indestructible surfaces, the long arming, finding angles where you can defuse successfully, because a lot of the defenders, or the attackers, their positions are being known on those retake scenarios, and they're able to either fight them or just avoid being picked off by them.
Back to CEO, Empire will go as they've run it up on the scoreboard right now. 4 rounds in a row, 4 successful defenses on Bank, which is a little out of the norm, honestly. Bank is trending towards more of an attacker-sided map, but still slightly defender-sided overall. Oh, what a shot by Mario through the railings onto Scyther. Mario unstoppable now as I guess he's getting sick of Joystick shutting him down every time he comes in the building.
Can you blame him? Certainly not fun to deal with. And that is the dock off the board. Not a huge loss of utility, but it is definitely an ACOG lost, and the only one they had on the team, which means long angle is a bit safer now. Flash is coming out to try and make this approach. Something we've seen a lot of from players this weekend is flashing up the stairs or using the life lines to try and pressure your way up to Banana.
All those punch holes use distraction and just a bunch of different options to use. Almost cost the life of Shockwave as the pre-fire from Mario almost connected on the head as he was rushing by, but he'll make it out. The drone, though, being shot, and Jackal Ping's coming out. Joystick, though, gonna shut down Race Hill again, and Joystick on these flanks. A lot of control, and there's another man downstairs for the defending side of Team Empire.
Jackal Track's not really doing anything for him either, as Arjeka just sitting in place, not needing to defend against that Jackal Ping. It's been wasted, but Ramu does find a nice angle on the shock anyways from the window.
See the window repels again from Ramu, and the stun cancer's coming out. The push from Mario down Banana Hallway. Are we looking at our first successful Nora-Rengo round as Joystick will fall? Shepard alone in the janitor closet once again. Shuts down Papilia for 1. He's got a soft wall right in front of him, though, and the plant is going down by Waka directly beside the B bomb. On a soft wall, holding his cutoff rotate is Ramu. Plant gets completed by Waka, so it's a 1v3 and a diffuser retake scenario for Shepard to work his way out of. Lots of missed shots against that soft wall outside of the conference room and the long table, and everyone on Nora-Rengo remaining quite static as Shepard. No progression here, no momentum, and no real access to be able to maneuver the site with ease as he's cut off from these influential windows, and it'll be Ramu upside down to the rappel. Hear the roar of the crowd as Nora-Rengo is able to bring one back.
Well, I think they finally realized on the CEO attack, the windows on the other side, not the ones to be playing, the windows right close to the bomb site there, that is the ones to be playing on. Absolutely paid off for them. They put so much pressure on that side once they were able to get it, and just completely deny and lock him into janitor closet at that point. Good crossfires as well, much better plant coverage that time, but also a great way to cover his exit from there, so he had nowhere to go at that point. And finally, a retake scenario not working out for Empire. Gonna stop the momentum, but there's still one more defensive round they get, and they still get to go back to CEO if they want. Cannot go back to lockers, though, is the important thing for Nora-Rengo.
Well, Team Reciprocity also getting some food in as they're in the audience watching possibly one of the teams they might face in the finals if they can make it past G2 later today.
Eat and study.
Eating and studying.
Gotta get that gamer fuel in.
Well, it definitely seems like Empire have done their homework on Bank as far as stratting out Nora-Rengo, because as you said, there's a lot of tape out there on Nora on Bank, and there's not a lot of tape for Empire on Bank, and they seem to have the strats down, at least on the defensive side, and like I said, it's a little contrary to the norm right now. Bank has been trending more attacker-sided as the days and weeks and months go on. However, we could just see this entire map be defender-sided and Nora-Rengo run it back and push overtime, but right now Empire with a perfect position to finally take a 5-1 lead into the half instead of being down 5-1 in the half.
To be fair, it is looking attacker-sided in the sense they're getting the plants down fairly consistently, which is, I mean, that is an attacker-sided thing. It's just their inability to defend it afterwards that's making it look defender-sided, because they're not picking off enough players, and because Empire are actually playing very smart. about how they defend it. Just unfortunately, last round for Shepard, he was caught all off on his lone. Ramu maybe gonna get another early pick. Certainly looked like a potential, nope. It's gonna be potentially through a reinforced wall. Gonna stop those shots, but not a big deal here as they're gonna look to try and pick again through those windows, I imagine, to get any free kills they can, or at least a lot of pressure. They've got to try to take down Scyther early, though, because that really helped last time. Taking down the ACOG early gave them the ability to play a bit more pressure from the long angles across the site.
Shockwave was cheese grating open that wall again as he just continuously pushes as many punch holes into that wall as possible. Bulletproof camera this time for Scyther deployed to watch the spiral stairs. That was the point at which he died, trying to peek out onto the spiral stairs last time. It was a beautiful threading of the needle by Mariu to remove the head of Scyther, that influential ACOG operator holding down the top of the stairs. We've got a man inside of the elevator again. It's Karzeka on the Valkyrie with an ADS in place and the hatch most likely open to drop. It's been this backside take from Nora-Rengo that's been the norm for them, at least attacking CEO. They don't really push from top square at all, have any control or breach open any hard walls on the far side near square stairs.
No, it's definitely taking control of that banana in the small office leading into it. They're able to push in from the window side, just put all the pressure on one side, shut everyone off to the other side, but Scyther denying Mariu there is going to slow things down a bit. Getting some good use out of that ACOG in that positioning we talked about with cameras, followed up by Papilia for a trade on joystick, so that back flank there not going to help.
If you're Nora-Rengo, you feel pretty good about that, but you've missed Karzeka, joystick's partner, even from the grave, on the flank, about to come up spiral stairs with possibly 3 targets awaiting him at the top, and Scyther continuing his reign of terror inside of the small office, and Karzeka through the bars again, dropping down, will be Waka to trade it out. They're running low on time and running low on manpower. It's just Waka alone coming up the spiral stairs, back and forth on the other side of a hard wall. Shockwave landing the majority of the shots in this contest, and 30 seconds remain for Waka to kill all 3, or at least put down the plant and protect it in the overtime.
At least he has the diffuser, but so many people fight, so much health, and potentially smokes on board as well to deny him out. Looks like at least 1 canister left.
Doesn't look like it's going to go very well for Waka here, as he could actually use one of these stim pistols from Scyther. Slow goings here. He's just proning his way all the way in through Banana hallway. It's 3 on the round for Scyther on the dock, and that'll end the half with Empire up 5-1.
How do you come back from getting 7 forward on your own map to just destroy the first 6 rounds? It's just phenomenal. I mean, it took them to map 3 to really see Empire get this momentum yesterday. Whatever they did between the 2 maps to get themselves reset absolutely worked. However, as we've said many times, and we'll probably continue to say just because it's been continuing to be a trend, sides switch now, and that absolutely could turn the tables. We talk about when joystick is able to play on Jaeger, that usually makes a huge difference. He did get shut down a lot on that Jaeger play, but despite that, the rest of the team coming together to cover each other, their ability to play together on their bomb sites, the big difference maker, in my opinion. They may not be playing as much together on attack, and I think this is where Nora-Rengo could again exploit the fact that they often have people alone or in positions where they're not adequately covering each other. So this is a huge opportunity for Nora to turn this back around by just exploiting that. And they're going to bring one thing that, Empire going to bring one thing that Nora didn't bring, which is that IQ, which will help a little bit with spotting out possibly even the pulse, or those black eyes earlier could also help with a little bit of roam clear along with that jackal. But it is not a huge thing to bring here in terms of stopping a lot that's going to deny the plant for you.
Nora-Rengo going to have to be near perfect trying to claw this back and round this out in a 2-0 fashion, or they'll replicate some of what Empire did, which was bring a couple rounds back, make it kind of close, ultimately sputter out, and we go to map 3. Similar to what happened yesterday between Empire and Liquid.
I would still be a bit concerned about Empire on Coastline just because they did show some weakness on it that Liquid were able to exploit. I gotta imagine Nora would be able to exploit some of those same weaknesses, and we would hope that Empire shored those up. But it is definitely going to be interesting to Scyther if it gets to that point. However, we'll see. I mean, this is just the start of the defenses for Nora, and they are going to be able to play as turtled up potentially as Empire did, just forcing them to burn time without a lot of early picks.
Drones coming out, it's the downstairs defense for Nora-Rengo to begin things, and no real shocks, no real surprises awaiting Team Empire. The Jackal coming out for Joystick instead of the Ash of his own volition, which is a little strange considering he loves his Ash and only really swaps the Jackal when it's banned. But it's bank. You kind of want the Jackal for your roam clear, just to expedite things, knowing that no one has rotated up and hit in a corner that you've missed on a drone.
To be fair, he's also not been a terrific Jackal on many maps.
No.
Something that we've criticized before in the past, but I would love to see that change here and have this be, like you said, a map where he shines on it just because of how necessary it is on this map. And it's just down to he needs to stop getting killed early. But so far, almost a minute and a half of the round, he's not dead, so kudos to him.
Yeah, no, Necrox was a better Jackal last night than Joystick's ever been, and he was in the grave in about a minute every round. So that tells you what his, at least, Jackal proficiency is, and Waka's still holding the server stairs. Jackal ping's coming out now downstairs inside a server onto Mariu, and Waka, I believe that's a Spaz 12, if I read the scoreboard correctly. I do. It is a Spaz 12 point-blank range.
Oh, typical play for it, but the hatch being open now means pressure could potentially come from the backside. C4s could also get thrown up from the pulse, but the Jackal peeking means they know where he's at. Scyther, though, the first to fall, he did his job, though, and got hatches open as he needed to. Not a big deal. He wasn't bringing a ton of utility that was necessary outside of that, but they still need to take down the Valkyrie up on the stairs. And there goes another player, Shockwave, for the next one to fall.
Karzeka missing the rotate in behind the server rack, and he's holding the diffuser, and this is stalling out for Team Empire now. Trying to collect some hatch control and anyone on the rotate back, but Nora-Rengo have no need to push back. Pushing out with the Spaz 12, taking a lot of damage, but dealing the same amount as Shepard. Dropped below 20, pushing into server stairs. Mariu with another one onto Karzeka. That's the diffuser lost in the stairwell, and it's all an onslaught in here in this stairwell. Shepard will finally clean one back onto Waka, pushing down the stairs. So there's another man holding at the bottom. Mariu will down him off. It's Joystick alone now. Hit a 1v4, cleaning it up. Nora-Rengo on a bounce back, and the crowd erupts.
What a defense. I love the pulse play. Once he was done being pinged by the Jackal, he set up in a position absolutely ready for the hatch drop to come out against his teammate. They spent so much time fighting and trying to use those server stairs, completely denied, even when it finally had a chance at the end, too little too late. And that right there is why you see so many people so focused on holding server stairs. Certainly cost them. They might even consider the old vault drop just because so many teams now have gotten so proficient holding it. A lot of energy now coming out for Nora-Rengo to power up the recharge. The coach doing his best as well to keep us entertained. I gotta admit, while I love Empire, I do enjoy the Nora-Rengo interviews.
The interviews are probably one of the best things about them. And that's honestly a great shot there from Papilia. I thought it was a flank up the main stairs, but no, he just awaits the hatch opening and fires straight on through. And beautiful play, like you said, inside the server there from Nora-Rengo. That's got to be a momentum booster and a confidence booster for Nora-Rengo on that one, considering they've not had a bad time so far, at least on their attacking side.
Yeah, I gotta imagine we could see that swing back here, because there's not a lot that they could really bring on Empire that's going to be a huge game changer for that. But CEO was a little bit of a struggle sometimes in terms of it having a lot of openness compared to lockers. But in this case, that was what we saw from Empire as well, just that ability to stay up here and use the angles they can set up to their advantage. They are going to be bringing a Doc and a Rook, going with the double ACOGs. So this is something that could work in their favor if they lose one of them, because we saw how important it was sometimes if the Doc was lost, which I believe was Scyther playing on the defensive rounds for Empire. Could be a huge difference maker. The utility coming out in terms of the Maverick and the Thermite, depending on how the take is going to go down, may or may not be important to that. If they go for a take on the square skylight side, as we were talking about earlier, that could be very important. If they're not, it's not going to be a huge difference maker because you don't need a ton of walls to blow open unless they're trying to come from, say, conference room into janitor or some of the other angles if they're not already opened up as rotates by Nora-Rengo.
I find it interesting that Waka is on the smoke of all roles. It's not one we commonly see him on, but at least in this specific hold on this specific site, Waka will be facilitating the smoke roll inside of the janitor closet, one of the most crucial points to hold on this CEO defense. You don't want to allow them in there to start breaching open and have access to not only your conference room hold, which will repel any of your elevator hallway push, but also the objective CEO up against these hard walls that Shockwave is now blown open the right-hand portion of, and an impact came soaring in the left side from Raysil, so just guessing the sound wrong on which side was being breached open. And Karzeka will start things off onto Papilia.
Very impressive start. They were about a minute in when they got the walls open, then following that up with a kill onto one of the ACOGs is going to really start to open up the site here, but Shockwave needs to hold his own while the team goes for flanks to set up for this plant. They do have at least the one set of smokes that will help out with that, along with some utility from Zofia to try and fire some of those lifelines in. But Shockwave needs to stay alive, or this starts to become a flank position to come out from Nora-Rengo. So he's just gonna have to hold as long as possible. He also is gonna be the one to go for the plant once those smokes come out. His joystick needs to stay alive long enough to make the smokes come out. But again, he's on Jackal and lived so long into the round and helped Shockwave to shut down poor Racer.
Racer was in a hell in a cell and really had nowhere to go and finally cut off by Shockwave. And Shockwave is now going to try putting down the diffuser in the midst of smoke, and he's not choking on the toxic gas. Mary, though, will claim one victim. Ramu will fall, though. A 2v4 post plant for Nora-Rengo to push out of, unless they end up on match point. Mario with one, but Scyther on the immediate refrag. It's a lone Rook inside of the depths of the executive lounge for Mario to push out. Trying to regain control over the diffuser itself. A drone covering and many repels coming out on the side of Team Empire. There's too many to go for the vault, as even if he claimed one life with the first vault, he would fall to the second, and Scyther, the protection, the redundancy on the windows. Empire, map point to send us to 3.
That certainly is the difficulty in dealing with that site. If you have people out on the windows and there's even one of them, that could be enough to stop you, because if you vault out, you pretty much cannot get back in time. And being a Rook, certainly not going to help with that. Nora-Rengo, though, deciding we should not be losing our map, going to be calling their timeout. As it's going to be their chance to kind of recollect themselves, because they have only lost the one round on defense. They managed to win the other one. Totally doable. But I feel like when we saw Empire losing on their defenses, it was more often than not on their third bomb site. So Nora-Rengo looking like they struggled a lot more on CEO. That's going to be a potential problem here, as now Nora-Rengo sitting, or I'm sorry, Empire sitting on match point, or map point rather, I guess. Does mean there's a very good chance, as you said earlier, that we see that map 3. But we saw Nora-Rengo take a while to finally seal their map point deal as well, as they'd gotten that good lead, but took a couple of rounds to close it out to take it to map 2. So could also have a few rounds here where Nora-Rengo are able to bring it back for joystick, for Empire, could try and close it out to the next map, which will be a very interesting decider should we get there. But I do think there's definitely a possibility we could see a full enough swing back where you see the slight smirk there on Karzeka's face. Not wanting to look too happy, but certainly feeling a lot better about this map.
Like you said, should Empire take a round away, we'll head to map 3, which is Coastline, which definitely trends toward the side of Nora-Rengo, considering Empire's struggles on it. I'm interested to see, though, how the Coastline would break down, and I imagine we're going to head there. I don't really see Nora-Rengo being able to pull this back. 4 consecutive to push overtime and winning the majority of the rounds in OT. It's a tough task, and they're going to go back to CEO, as well, a site they just lost. And Empire seem to have the book on bank on Nora-Rengo throughout on either side of the game.
I got to say, some of that's down to just a fast execute we saw last when they managed to push in so soon in terms of getting the wall open and then pressure and then smoke for the plant. That was absolutely fantastic play in terms of just being able to push them away from the site quickly and just to the advantage of anyone falling for the same things that they fell for, basically, which is the window. The window play seemed like a big problem for both teams in terms of how do we defend against this, because we don't have anyone able to really stand in lobby for any kind of angles. There's very few angles you can get to try and take anyone out on those. You need people almost ready for jump outs early that are faster speed operators that might be able to get away with it, get back down into sewers and rotate around. But you need a 3-speed to pull that off, or it's just going to be very, very tough to have that turn into anything but a trade.
Joystick still on his favorite PDW Jackal, and he's looking to repel on these windows once again. And 50 bullets, high rate of fire, not a lot of recoil. It's a pretty good position to be on the repel. And Empire last time, they smothered Nora-Rengo. They locked him down from every single angle, and there was no better description of that than poor Racel, who was stuck in the banana hallway, stuck between a triple crossfire. 3 different directions, 3 different repels. It was not a fun time for him, and all of Nora-Rengo got to experience that at one point or another in the round.
It is similar to Consulate, where we do see them setting up very good crossfires from the outside. Once they're able to get actual pressure on the site, that is, I do think, is where Empire are doing well. something we saw a little bit from them on Consulate. It's dealing with roamers they struggle more with, but it doesn't seem like, when it comes to CEO at least, that is anywhere near a problem for them. The roamers just cannot seem to get close. I would like to see maybe potentially a C4 throw to try and stop Shock, whether it be from in sight or even down from the square skylight lobby right there, to try and get a play onto him, or at least pressure him into a position where a teammate could go for shots, because letting him sit up there waiting for plant is really costing them. We're not able to do a ton from down here.
No, he's got the cardiac sensor on 2. One holding flank in the middle of the square, and Joystick will shut down Mariu. Second one of Shockwave at the top, looking to press into the objective. Still holding from Skylight. Empire have 2 people inside the building, and they're about ready to go for a site execute and try and get a plant down. Shots back and forth between a soft wall. Neither will land a lethal blow, and a toxic bait from Waka will repel Shockwave on his initial progress into the site, at least momentarily for the next 10 seconds. Waka being able to chain these together won't be able to burn out the entirety of the clock. And this drone downstairs on Ramu, it's perfectly read now by Shockwave. Gonna look through these kill holes. The cardiac sensor giving away his position. And this is enough to stall out, with the calls coming out. Karzek will drop Ramu to 25. Shepard will clean it up. Raysil will fall as well. Inside of the janitor closet, though, Waka will stop the plant. But he's got to hold out for 30 seconds with Papilia in a 2v4. We're going to coastline.
Great holdout by Waka.
Inside of the janitor closet, and it looks like Papilia is dancing around at the top of the spiral staircase. Joystick at the top of Banana, and he'll shred right through Papilia. Waka takes down one, but Scyther will end it. Empire able to come back after a dominating performance by Nora-Rengo on Consulate. They replicate one of their own on Bank. We're going to coastline.
Certainly even better of a lead against Nora-Rengo's map. 7-2 versus the 7-4 on Consulate. Fantastic play by Empire, showing once they got that momentum at the start of the round, rather than trying to play catch up. Something we were talking about it when we were casting that